Every time the man went out, he would place a pen star on the door. But when he returned home today, he was shocked to see that the pen star was broken into 2 pieces. He immediately realized that someone had secretly broken into his house. As he had expected, the moment he opened the door, he found cameras installed all over the house, and behind the screens, a group of police officers were watching his every move. Confronted with this sudden turn of events, the man was so frightened that he couldn't even move. Because if he communicated with the god of death, the keen detectives would catch him instantly. The police were keeping an eye on him because he possessed a death note, a notebook in which writing a person's name could secretly cause their death. However, despite 2.5 years of surveillance, the police could not find any evidence of murder. Still, the detectives believed that the man was highly suspicious. Because on the very first day of the surveillance, the sudden deaths happening in the city had stopped. This, they believed, proved that he was the killer. But just when the police were about to arrest him, a newsflash came on TV reporting that a criminal had suddenly died of a heart attack. At that moment, the man was casually eating potato chips. He had no opportunity to act. So how did it all happen? To others, it was just a bag of chips. But to him, it was the perfect way to conceal a murder. He had hidden his mobile phone and the death note inside the chip bag to avoid police detection. Then, while the police were distracted, he silently wrote the criminal's name. Moments later, the criminal died suddenly of a heart attack. Witnessing this unexpected event, the police were stunned for a moment. They thought maybe this man wasn't the killer after all, but the direction of the needle had changed at the time of death. At this point, they had no choice but to end the surveillance. When the detectives couldn't find an explanation, suddenly, a woman called. She said she would risk her life to prove that the man was the killer. She pleaded with the detectives to deliver justice. Then she kidnapped the man's girlfriend and took her to a museum with tight security. There, under strict surveillance by the detectives, she loudly revealed her real name to the man. However, just as he was about to write her name, his girlfriend ran toward him. At that moment, the woman fired a shot, and as the bullet was fired, she collapsed to the ground. The woman who had fired the gun was shocked. She had never intended to harm an innocent person. The man began screaming loudly, so the woman shot herself. The god of death tried to silence her, but suddenly, the man began laughing. To avoid being exposed, he had already written both of their names in the death note before heading to the museum. His girlfriend was killed while running. The other woman committed suicide out of fear of death. Hearing this, the god of death took a deep breath and said, "You are a monster. The film ends here."